Next team, this is Ricult.
Now, I do it for you. I'm going to stop with you now. That's something that going to as it फसल खराब हो जाती है फिर सानू मल्ला बदी
ਅਸੀਂ ਆਰਤੀ ਜੋ ਲੈਣਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਬੜਾ ਹੀ ਪਰੇਸ਼ਾਨ ਕਰਦਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਰੇਟ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਾਰਕੀਟ ਦੇ ਲਿਹਾਜ਼ ਨਾਲ ਕੋਈ ਸਸਤਾ ਲੈਂਦਾ ਸੀ ਔਰ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਚੀਟਿੰਗ ਵੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਸਨ ਇਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਉਧਾਰ ਲਿਆਂਦਾ ਸੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਮਜਬੂਰ ਸਾਂ
ਜ਼ਿਮੀਂਦਾਰਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਫਸਲਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਘੱਟ ਵਿਕਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਖਾਦ ਬੀਜ ਸਪਰੇਵਾਂ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਮਹਿੰਗੀਆਂ ਮਿਲਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਲਿਹਾਜ਼ਾ ਇਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕਾਸ਼ਤਕਾਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੜਾ ਮੁਸੀਬਤ ਬਣ ਗਈ ਹੈ
Hello everyone, my name is Usman Javed and I'm the CEO of Ricult. I'm from Pakistan. There's no surprise that 60% of Pakistan's 20 million farmers live in extreme poverty. 1 million farmers languish in bonded labor because of the debt that their forefathers took. And only in 2016, 100,000 farmers committed suicide because of debt-related issues. In my extensive career working with Exxon, selling fertilizers, and then dealing with dairy farmers while working with Nestle in Pakistan, I realized how destitute and difficult the farmer situation is. And I got a first-hand view of how difficult and exploitative their environment is. It's when I joined Telenor and launched the world's third largest mobile banking business, I realized how simple basic technology could be used to create huge social impact. It is then I decided to quit my job, go to MIT, and try and find a problem to this solution. And one of the first things that I did when I went to MIT was try and build a world-class team. And I was extremely lucky to find these very, very talented people who are specialists in areas like machine learning, agricultural logistics, product design, and credit modeling. And they'd worked in companies like Google and Cisco and Cargill, etc. We were also able to build a very strong board of advisors with people like the former finance minister of Pakistan on our board.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gabriel Torres, and I'm the Chief Strategy Officer at Ricult. I've spent the majority of my career pricing, trading, and risk managing financial derivatives. And about 2 years ago, I also started consulting with startups. In my first formal meeting with Usman, I realized the spectacular nature of what we could accomplish together at Ricult. I closed all of my other projects and joined full-time. Ricult provides farmers the tools they need to take control of their destiny. The farmers we serve in Pakistan, like so many other farmers across the globe, are the victims of financial exclusion and exploitation. Our central mission is to provide them a path out of poverty. At the heart of what we do is extend credit to smallholder farmers via in-kind loans. This is a group that is largely considered uncreditworthy, so before we could start making loans, we had to understand why. In our research, we made two main discoveries. The first was that the majority of defaults were caused by a small set of recurring pain points. The second was that each of these pain points could be fixed with a technological solution. We designed our business model specifically to address these issues. We have created an end-to-end integrated solution, and we offer it to the farmers that can benefit most from it. Through our partners, we offer access to farm inputs like seeds and fertilizers that are sourced directly from the manufacturer. We provide agronomic services like weather and satellite data that allow our farmers to make better decisions and maximize yield. We're also building a marketplace where buyers of crops can go and compete on the price for our farmers' produce. Providing all of these services together is essential. It fundamentally increases the income and creditworthiness of our farmers. To determine whom to select for our Ricult process, we use our proprietary Ricult score. The Ricult score, which is synonymous with the credit score, is generated by an algorithm that is continuously being improved by machine learning. Our machine learning credit scoring algorithm rates farmers along two main dimensions: their ability to repay a loan and their willingness to repay a loan. For each farmer, we generate a score and then focus our lending efforts on the group of farmers that score highest in both categories. We're always trying to extend loans that have a high probability of being repaid, but there's always some chance of default. However, regardless of outcome, our algorithm is always learning about how the different variables and attributes of farmers are associated with the probability of them completing the Ricult process and therefore repaying a loan. In our dashboard, we integrate information about farms and farmers. Before any loan is extended, we use it to determine the fertility and revenue potential of a farm. After a loan has been extended, we use it to track crop progression and risk factors to see if there are any interventions that are necessary. And then finally, at harvest, we use it to calculate the quantity and the quality of a farmer's crop so that we can connect each farmer with the best buyer of their produce.
We've extended farm inputs worth $100,000 to 170 farmers, and you'd be happy to know that 100% of those farmers who've completed their crop cycle have returned the money. We've built an extremely extensive ecosystem of partners who help us drive effectiveness and efficiency in the model. Our beachhead market is Pakistan, where the agricultural demand for credit is $7.5 billion. And on a global scale, the agricultural demand for credit is $450 billion. Our midterm goals are to achieve a net profit of $4.3 million by serving 50,000 farmers by the year 2020. Our short-term goals are to service 1,000 farmers by the end of this year. Our main cost drivers are the cost of funds, the cost of technology development, and our cost of customer acquisition. Our business model hinges on revenue streams from the markup that we charge the farmers, from the input commission that we charge the input suppliers, and the output commission that we charge the output buyers. Our main competitors in this industry are the informal middlemen who are the main providers of credit to these farmers. And we feel that we are the only actors in this space who can provide an end-to-end solution, and that is our competitive advantage. Our second biggest competitive advantage is our world-class team, which we feel can actually make a huge difference. Our go-to-market strategy hinges on the vernacular. It focuses on direct farmer-to-farmer contacts, it focuses on farmer events, and it also focuses on using opinion leader farmers to endorse our services. Here you can see some pictures of the marketing collateral that we've used to build brand awareness for our services. Our farmers love us. They love us because we provide them with farm inputs at a 30% discount delivered at their doorstep. They love us because our payment terms are synchronized with their crop cycles. And they love us because the markup that we charge is at least 3 times lower than what they're used to paying the middleman. The theory of change hinges on the premise that if we can provide smallholder farmers with the right quality input at the right time and help them through agronomy and connect them directly to buyers, it can have a positive impact on yield and income, which we've seen to be increased by 30%. My grandfather once told me that you might need a lawyer, a doctor, or a policeman, maybe once a year, but you need a farmer 3 times a day. Ladies and gentlemen, the people who feed us need us. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'll ask a question about kind of an asset liability mismatch that I imagine you guys have to deal with to some degree. Many of the MFIs that tend to work in the agricultural space aren't able to tailor their loan terms so perfectly to the agricultural cycle because of where they're borrowing their funds from. I'm curious how you're going to manage that potential mismatch or how you've done it in the past?
Yeah, so we've actually partnered with a company out of the US. It's an MIT startup as well, and they've created an ag fund for us. And that ag fund is actually focused on social impact. So the payment terms that we have are actually linked or synchronized with our payment crop cycles. And that is the direction we're going to take. The second thing is that we're already in talks with the government to see how they could be integrated into this system, because they're launching a huge credit scheme and they feel that this can also have a positive impact on agriculture.
So I have a question about your scaling rates. You show here going from about 1,000 farmers in 2018 to 50,000 by 2020. That's really, really fast growth. Can you explain how that's going to happen? And then can you also talk about whether you see applicability for this model beyond?
Sorry?
And second question is about, do you see applicability for this model beyond Pakistan?
Yeah. So the scaling up primarily is a function of our technology readiness. Once we have the technology ready and up and running, and we have the fund which is already working. We've already spoken to a lot of local sources. What we are doing is right in the middle of Islamic Sharia financing, so there's a lot of Islamic mutual funds who want to work with us. So it's just a question of our technology being ready, we having proof of concept, and then we scale up. Because we actually directly interact with the farmer's mobile phone as well as through a call center. And that gives us very fast scale. In terms of applicability, it's actually applicable to farmers everywhere. Thailand, China, India, Bangladesh, all these markets have similar problems.
And just to add to that also, the whole platform is designed for scalability. One of the great things I think Usman has done is, instead of saying, I have this technology, what problem can I apply it to? It's, let's look at this problem. What would the perfect solution look like? And let me find the people that can make that solution a reality and put them on my team. So we really have experts. I mean, you're not selling them short when you say that. Like,
Yep.
They're truly experts in their field.
I had a question about your competitive advantage in IP, which you called the Ricult score.
Yes.
And I'm a big fan of big data and machine learning. I'm curious, I'm assuming then that means you could borrow at lower loans and therefore lower rates and pass that savings to your customers. How would that compare to a standard MFI?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. We wanted to get the whole process started initially, and that is why we actually borrowed at a higher cost. Once we tap into local resources, there is a huge potential to actually bring down that cost. We are actually, one of the biggest reasons commercial banks can't service these farmers is because of their lack of creditworthiness. And once we can provide that, they're willing to provide loans at 10, 11%, which MFIs charge at 36%. Because MFIs charge at a higher rate because of the risk profile of the farmer.
I'm also interested in this machine learning and the credit score. How do you get the data inputs? I mean, I can understand the machine learning and analysis, but there isn't much data to work with, or it seems to me expensive and difficult to get.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different data sources that we are using, and one of the things we're doing right now is actually going to the villages. All of the farmers, it's not that we're just contacting via SMS or something like that. We have people on the ground right now, and I've done a lot of work. I was a partner at a proprietary trading firm, and I'm a real believer in incentives give you, they define the emergent behavior of a system. So we're trying to find the right incentives to get all of these players moving in the right direction. So coming back to your original question, we use psychometric analytics. We use soil fertility analytics. We use different agronomic analytics, and we combine these all, and they all give us little data points about this. But another piece that we really take advantage of is the type of farmers that we're targeting have a lot of similarities and symmetries between them. So the algorithm learns a lot faster than if we were actually trying to create a credit scoring algorithm for anybody.
This is an area that I know very little, actually nothing about. A lot of what you just talked about was the ability to repay. Is their soil good? I imagine rainfall is taken into account. The willingness to repay, you mentioned there are farmers that are like each other, but kind of taking a step back because you're at a pilot phase in a way, where's the beginning of that, and kind of what physical means are you using to input that data?
Yeah, so I'll take that. The two things that we've done in terms of measuring willingness to pay is we're building a vouching agent network. These vouching agents are people who interact with the farmer on a daily basis, selling them groceries on credit or other stuff. So that vouching agent network, every time there's a farmer who registers with us and wants access to our system, an SMS is sent out to them. And then based on their relationship or reputation understanding, they send back a response. It's a very simple 1:3 score line which they have to meet. The second thing that we've done is we've integrated psychometric analytics, which help us identify whether the farmer is lying or not. So that's part of a 25-minute test, which our field agent through an app on an Android device actually just goes and conducts.
Seems to me that the real competitor is not the bank, but at the moment is middleman. Can you describe a little bit better which is the relationship right now between a farmer and a middleman? I mean, if it's control other things, not only this activity.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the middleman is the unnecessary evil. He's there actually servicing a need, but he's doing that while he exploits the farmer. And he pushes them in this cycle of poverty where they can't get out of. These people have been there for centuries, like a middleman's father would be a middleman, his grandfather would be a middleman. But the farmers actually want to get out of this cycle.
I'm Italian, already understand exactly what is mafia, so.
Yeah, here you go, here you go. But that's a great question in the context that we don't want to eliminate the middlemen. We want to make them a part of the system. And we feel that we have the tools to actually enable them to become part of a system which is more transparent and way less exploitative.
There are risks on the side also of suppliers. I mean, there are connections between middlemen and suppliers that can, in a little bit, try to force the farmer to stay there, to buy always, or not.
The farmer actually has to go back to the middleman because the middleman sells his crops.
Yeah.
So that is why the output model that we're building is extremely important. And the way our output model works is through the dashboard, we can actually give data to the buyer that this was his crop analytics. And that helps us in determining the price for the farmer. It also gives him an incentive to improve his farming practices.
There is a big variability in the quality of the produce, and it seems that it isn't clear to me how you give that information to the buyer.
Yeah, so we actually can, because through our weather analytics modeling, we can, for example, we work with corn farmers, and the main quality parameter in corn farmers is the moisture content. It has to be within a certain range for the buyer to pay the premium price. Through our weather analytics, we can actually model it in a way that we can predict that this corn will have this moisture content, which then helps the buyer actually pay him a premium.
Piggybacking on the weather question, have you guys thought about weather insurance for yourselves? I mean, what is the kind of catastrophic event of either drought or flooding, and how do you guys protect yourselves as a financial institution?
Yeah, so because we have a lot of data points, we are working with one of our partners. I think it's in, sorry, this slide just gets stuck. Microinsure, it's a British company. They've done a lot of work in Africa. And using our data, they're helping us develop a crop insurance product. So barring floods or barring some major natural disaster, we will be in a position to actually provide farmers with crop insurance, which is affordable. Thank you. Thank you.